Hi everyone, happy July. I am really excited to be making a video today. I haven't done one in a really long time, and for that I apologize. I've really just fallen off of my sort of TBR, no new books for 2014 bandwagon. I did buy some books and I did read some books that weren't on my original TBR reading bookshelf, which is over there. But you know, it's been a weird couple of months, but July we're going to get back on the bandwagon because in addition to wanting to not wanting to read any new books for 2014, we now have, in addition to wanting to not really read any new books for 2014 and attack all of the books in my collection that I haven't read, I also sort of signed myself up, I guess, for the Goodreads sort of reading goal for the year, and my goal is to read 100 books this year. So that's kind of going on in conjunction with no new books for 2014. So July we're going to get back on the bandwagon. We're really going to knuckle down and read the books that I have in my collection, my original collection, I guess, that I haven't read. So let's get started. So I did a blog post, and I'll post my blog link below, about my books for June, which I didn't really address in a video, and I didn't really get to until kind of the middle of last month. But my theme for the summer is my reading theme for the summer is armchair travelers and armchair traveling. So I was really quite amazed by the number of books in my collection that I have that are, you know, travelogues or about different places that I haven't really read before. So for June, being kind of the first month of the season, I decided to stick close to home, and the books that I read were about different places in kind of North and South America. So I had a lot of books by Isabel Allende, and Bill Bryson's A Walk in the Woods about the Appalachian Trail was in there. Under the Banner of Heaven, which was about the Mormons out west, was in there. So kind of a lot of books on America and South America, just to kind of get me warmed up for the summer months, summer reading months. Now this month we're going further abroad. For July I am reading a lot of books that are about kind of not typical places that people want to travel. I think that when you think about traveling, a lot of people think about traveling in Europe, but I decided for July that I was really going to go places that weren't fairly typical. So a lot of the books that I have to read for July are set in India or about India. I have one about Greece, one about Morocco. So let me just share these with you really quickly. And I'm not going to go in like the order I'm reading them. I'm just going to kind of go, I have them stacked according to size because I'm OCD that way. But so we'll kind of just go that way. So the first book that I will talk about is called We the Living by Ayn Rand. And it looks really rough. I got it for like 50 cents at a used bookstore, and the spine was really starting to get injured. Anyway, this is set during Soviet Russia. Ayn Rand is very much about like personal rights and personal liberties. So I'm interested to read this because Russia is something that I've been fascinated with ever since I read The Bronze Horseman by Paulina Simons. So really excited to read this, We the Living by Ayn Rand, about Russia. And then I have a travel narrative by William Dalrymple called City of Gems, which is about India. In particular, Delhi, I think. Yes, Delhi. And I find India to be a really fascinating place. I watched a documentary by Michael Wood, I believe, called The Story of India. Fantastic documentary series. So I actually have two travel narratives about India and one novel about India in my stack here. So City of Gems by William Dalrymple is about Delhi and its history. And then I also have kind of more of a lighthearted book called Holy Cow, An Indian Adventure by Sarah McDonald, who is Australian. And this is about, I think it's kind of, I guess it would be kind of similar to Eat, Pray, Love, in that it's a woman kind of on a spiritual journey, but she doesn't realize she's on a spiritual journey. Apparently Sarah McDonald went to India when she was like college age, hated it, but was told by a fortune teller that she would come back for love and you know, and all this sort of stuff. And lo and behold, she does come back for love. And it's kind of about, this one is actually the first that I'm reading for the month, and it's really about a woman just kind of discovering herself in India, discovering the beauty of India, because I think, and what I've heard from people who have been, is that it's extraordinarily chaotic. And I think too, its society is so incredibly different from the West that I think that Westerners who visit India, it takes some getting used to. So I'm really interested to finish reading Holy Cow. I mean, can you not, don't you just love this cover? Isn't it just beautiful? So very excited to read that. And then the novel that I'm reading about India is called, and this is a big one, look at that, it's called Sacred Games by Vikram Chandra. And I think it's, I don't really have a clear understanding of what exactly this book is about. I think that it's set in Mumbai. It's set in Mumbai. And I think this will be interesting because it's very much like about the different people in the city. It is a work of fiction, so it will be interesting to read a work of fiction about India that's, you know, quite expansive. This one I've budgeted 3 days to read each of the books that I have selected to read for this month, and this one is going to be a bit of a challenge, but I really hope to get into it because I'm very intrigued by this book. So then I'm reading Iger Dreams, but it's I think it's, I don't know, is it Iger? Is it Eager? I don't know. Anyway, Eager Dreams by John Krakauer. It's Ventures Among Men in Mountains. And John Krakauer, I have 2 other books of his. I read, of course, last month I read a bit, I think I read half of Under the Banner of Heaven. And then in high school I also read the book that he wrote about Mount Everest. In high school I read Into Thin Air, also by John Krakauer, which was his story of his own journey up Mount Everest. Several years ago, there was a terrible, terrible tragedy. I'm sure you might have heard of it, on Mount Everest. And John Krakauer apparently was also among one of the people who were close or in, or, you know, that expedition. And so he wrote that book, and then this is kind of also about his mountain climbing addiction, I think is how he's called it before. So this is really just a collection of stories. I'm really excited to read it because I find John Krakauer to be a really good writer, and it's also a pretty short little book, so I think I'll be able to get through it pretty quickly. And then next, I have this book. It's All Greek to Me by John Moll. I think I bought this one when Borders was having a sale, a clearance sale, when it was going out of business, and I saw it, and at that time I was going through a real sort of, my favorite books were travel narratives. I was really wanting to read more of them, and I love the caption. It's all Greek to me, a tale of a mad dog and an Englishman, ruins Retsina and real Greeks. So, you know, you see a lot of books out there about people living in Italy, and France, and Europe, just in general, but you don't see a lot of books about people who have lived in other parts of the world. So Greece, the idea of reading a book about Greece is really fascinating to me. I'm really excited about it. And then I also have a book that I got from Borders when it was going out of business. It is called A House in Fez by Susanna Clark. And I think I bought this after I had finished reading another book about Morocco called The Caliph's House. And so I really love reading about Morocco. I think it's an interesting place, and I think it's really fascinating because she buys a house in Fez, according to the back, and basically restores it. So very excited to read about Morocco, another very atmospheric place. And then I kind of just take a little segue, and I don't really have an explanation for why I chose to read this book in July. I also am reading Daughter of the Blood by Anne Bishop, which is actually a work of science fiction. But hey, it's all about, you know, it's not set on Earth, it's a different place. So we will definitely be traveling intergalactically when we read this book this month. I'm really looking forward to it. I feel like it's one of those books that I see all the time, whether it's on Amazon or Goodreads or at Barnes & Noble, and I've just never actually picked it up and bought it to read. So it's going to be great to actually read it and see if this is a series that I want to continue reading, because this is book 1 of a trilogy. And then finally, I am also reading by Amy Tan, Saving Fish from Drowning, which I have read Amy Tan's work before and I really enjoyed it. It's very, very atmospheric. She writes extremely well about her culture. And so I'm looking forward to reading this book and reading some more. I believe it is about China. It is about China. And I bought this at a used bookstore. I actually bought it at Second and Charles, my favorite bookstore. If you've watched my videos, you know. So those would be all, I think, 10 of the books that I am reading this month. Happy to get back with it and talk to you guys some more about the books that I've read. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!